Hi, everybody. Mischa here for Word of the Day, and there it is. Presage. A word that you may not even have heard before, but you've seen it written. Okay, now what does presage mean? As a noun, it means something that foretells or foreshadows a future event, an omen, your intuition. A sentence like, Mary had a presage that the boat would sink, is how you would use it there. Now, if you're going to use it as a verb, it would be Mary presaged that the boat might sink. There you go. Where does it come from? Well, in the case of the noun, it comes from Latin in the 14th century. In the case of the verb, we stole it from the French in the 16th century. Oh, how could we not? I mean, Presage. There you go. Okay, so let's go back to the 14th century for a second. It comes into English as a noun in the works of John Gower, who's an old friend of ours and a very close friend of Geoffrey Chaucer. Remember, the 14th century is the Wild West Middle English period. Now, Gower was such a good friend of Chaucer's that when Chaucer went off on a diplomatic mission to Italy, it was John Gower who had the power of attorney over his stuff. At the time, they were considered sort of equal as writers, but in the course of time, Chaucer stands head and shoulders above everybody from that period. So, let's use this word in 3 sentences. First sentence will be as a verb. Okay. When I hear people trying to presage the future by quoting Nostradamus or the Book of Revelations, I often wonder if they've ever actually read them, because you guys, they're really difficult. Okay, sentence 2. The Dred Scott decision, in which the Supreme Court said that Dred Scott, a man who had escaped slavery, had to be returned as property to the South, presaged the Civil War and the 14th Amendment. And finally, that's my Black History sentence. Okay, and finally, my personal example. I grew, and I'm going to use it as a verb, as a noun here. Okay. When I was growing up, I grew up in Wisconsin in tornado country, and when it'd be a summer day, you'd be playing outside, and suddenly you would realize you couldn't hear the birds. No birds, no animals. Way too still. The air completely still. And that was a huge presage of a coming tornado. Head for the northwest corner of the basement. Okay, so I know you may not want to use that word presage, but at the very least, when you read it, you won't read it presage, which is what I always did. Okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow.